Huh, that pops up on the screen in the upper right-hand corner.
Oh, what are we gonna do with you?
Well, it says live YouTube. I never do these. I'm usually always there, so I've never seen that before.
Out here, we see everything, Rich.
Do ya? Well, I won't make you feel bad. I won't stand up today.
Get it on my screen. I can't find it on my screen.
Morning, Courtney.
Good morning.
Morning, Courtney.
Hello.
Courtney, you sent out the July auditor's balance. I'm curious on 1.9 million on local option, how much that is committed.
I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure. I think it's around 600,000, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I didn't need an exact figure, but I was curious.
Sorry, Rich, I didn't know I couldn't unmute you. You were squawking there for a second.
I am, huh?
Happens. The iPad's speakers would be close to the mics.
I might be too close to the mic.
No, the iPad speakers would be close to the mics on them, so it kind of squelches every now and then. There's nothing you can do about it.
Okay. I thought maybe I just had a phone that was trying to bleed in also. Well, it appears a couple others might be a little slow today. Now I'm gonna delay it a minute or two here and see if we get anybody else that joins in.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Dean.
Dean.
Morning.
Okay, I don't, did you guys remember, did Gene say he had another meeting today?
I was just looking at the minutes and he has CDC and general assistance, which was with you, so yes
Okay.
center, which is Friday. I
I
can't
think
see any
usually
conflicts.
those are on Fridays usually, I think. So, okay,
Yeah.
I sent him a message, see if he's gonna join. I haven't heard back from him. So I tell you what, we'll go ahead and get started today. There won't be any pledge of allegiance because nobody's downstairs by a flag. So, we'll just call the meeting to order. And I guess I'm looking for, is there anything additions for the agenda for today?
None from me. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. There are no additions.
And I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for today. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, the minutes from the August 17th meeting, which was Monday.
I've read the minutes. I'll move to approve them as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Thanks, Dean. Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the August 17th meeting minutes. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed. Okay, first thing up is the North Raccoon River watershed, and I think that has a today's date, so that's why we're doing this today. We need to make a response today, somehow or another.
Okay, so yeah, this is pretty interesting. I'm going to recommend that we do not take any action, and here is the explanation. After the meeting on Monday, Zach Anderson got a hold of me, and he said, Dean, I can probably help you with this. He got the email too from Don Etler and Bolton and Mank, and so he said he gave me a very good explanation of some things that are really actually happening, because he was, the engineer for SAC in Calhoun County. So he was involved in some of this stuff that happened. And one thing that just recently happened, I think it was in March, Buena Vista County, Calhoun County, and Sac County hired a drainage engineer that they share. And they have much more drainage issues than we have here. Over the last few years, I think probably because of some of the situation that they have been involved in the lower Raccoon River has forced them to, they felt, do some things to be more aggressive and proactive on drainage issues. And so this was part of that, and to hire this individual. And the second part of it was they have digitized all their drain files. So they can pull it up on, on their computers and know exactly what's going on. They paid a very good, it was not a cheap thing for them to do, but they felt it to be necessary. They also, over the years, have spent a lot of money in engineering, projects that involve their drainage systems. So they had an expense that they would hire an engineer to do. So now they felt it was cost efficient for those three counties to now hire somebody. So Zach gave me his number, and I called this individual. Brian Blome is his name, Blomme. And he gave me a really good rundown on what is happening up there and what the situation is with this email from Don Etler and Bolton, Maine. And Nicole Goebel's actually the letter that we would be sending this to with IDOLs. So just to make it short, there's a paragraph in there. So actually, what I think is a good explanation to this, or part of the explanation would be, is that this is a solicitation of services by Bolton Mink. You know, they want counties to get on board so they can provide service to them in acquiring some of this Senate File 512 funding that is available at $280 million. And so the paragraph that he had me look at, and he said, this is the main reason why I don't think you want to sign this. And it's in the letter. It's the first, Courtney, you got the letter and you did a great job of fitting it to Carroll County's needs. But the members of the board will provide in-kind support to the proposal through participation of a designated member of the Board of Supervisors on a project leadership committee that will be created to interact with the project team members to evaluate strategies for funding actionable projects in the drainage districts, to deal with public questions and concerns as may arise, and in meeting with members of the project team and the several landowners of viable project sites identified by the project team in the county. We don't want to do that. We don't really want any part of that. We don't have, I feel we don't have drainage issues like they do north of us. And so my recommendation is to just do nothing.
I have a question, Dean.
Okay.
By signing with these other three counties, they do have a drain engineer. We have no one. Are we hurting ourselves by not signing this? And we, you know, we aren't going to get services from them, I don't think, are we?
Well, we would be in line to get services from Bolton Mink. By this, we are somewhat committing to projects from Bolton Mink.
Without them, we have nobody and we're doing nothing. Is that a problem, Dean?
No, here's the conversation that I had with Brian was when let's see if I can find that here. You know, when I went to that meeting and I explained to you about the Iowa Soybean Association, and they're going to have an agronomist in the area. That's who is going to be our go-to person through this over the next 5 years. You know, I can't think of any kind of project that we would do. You know, somebody's going to have to bring the projects to us, you know, and determine whether or not we should do these projects. And that being the case, the Iowa Soybean, I'm going to say that coalition with the Iowa Soybean Association is our basically go-to people. Adam Leith, I think is his name, you know, he made the comment, he says, Dean, we'll be in contact with you a lot. We'll be contacting you on different projects that will come up, and then, you know, so I think it's going to be a lot like the Elk Run. You know, the Elk Run watershed project that the Iowa Soybean Association did, boy, they had several meetings up in Breda here. They fed them. They got the farmers in. They fed them. They had, and Rich, I think you were actually to a couple of those.
Yep, they made some good presentations.
Yes. And so, I mean, that's who we are going to rely on with this going forward. We don't want to do that social interacting with the farmers, and that's just not our deal. And since we don't have, I think that this Brian Blum is going to be doing that for Calhoun County, Sac County, and Buena Vista County. Now, he did say that, Dean, anytime that you have a question, feel free to give me a call. So it's real interesting. I got a email this morning from Don Etler, who is basically the guy that's heading this up. He's retired from Bolton, Maine. And he said, Dean, Brian Bloom told us that he had talked to you and that he understood that the Carroll County Board of Supervisors would probably not be joining the other counties in filing a letter of support for the IDOL's water quality planning and development grant proposal. If that is not correct, the board did authorize the letter of support. Please let us know immediately. The planning team met earlier this evening and made plans to include Sac, Calhoun, Buena Vista, and Greene counties as participants in the proposal. The proposal will be delivered to IDOLs on Thursday afternoon. If the proposal is accepted, there will be an opportunity to add Webster or Carroll counties to our project via an amendment. There will also be other opportunities over the coming decade as the Senate File 512 water quality funding comes available. So even if we don't sign this letter of support, it looks like Don, and I'm sure they're anticipating that this will be approved. And if it is approved, we can at that point, anytime we want to, go ahead and say we want to be a part of it. And there can be an amendment made. So that was a good email I got this morning. And that does reassure us that, if we don't, if we don't participate at this time, there might be an opportunity in the future to do so. So.
All right, thank you, Dave.
I guess so. At this time, I'm recommending no action. Any more questions?
I think this kind of gives us the opportunity to, and maybe I may be wrong here, but if a local farmer would choose to participate, and we could choose to help him if we decided to, if that was a project, that still keeps that avenue open for us.
Yeah,
And,
it does.
But this doesn't lock us into someone else making a decision and then we have to participate.
Right. If we support this, we're obligated to do some things. We're obligated to, we're it's going to cost us some money. And we'll probably be reimbursed through the grant. But, there's the thing about it is, and another thing that Brian and I talked about was the small segment of Carroll County that this actually covers. And that there's probably about 85% plans for the section of the North Raccoon River that is already planned out. And so the only part that I see is the tributaries that come from Calhoun County, of which there are many. The Purgatory Creek is one of them. If they decide to do anything upstream, in Calhoun County, they may call on us and say, hey, you know what, we are doing this and we can probably pull you in and do some things in your county as well to make this work better for everyone. So I think there's going to be that probably give and take a little bit, but we're not obligated to do that.
As I've talked to all the other watershed people and at supervisor meetings, it seems like the best plans are the ones that are voluntary. And if we get away from that, I'm kind of concerned that the rub could become harder, more divisive.
Yeah, and I don't know that there is any that are not voluntary. Most of the time, like say the East and West Nishnabad and all the practices that were there, there was matched dollars, and You know, when it started, it was 25-75, and then they didn't get any takers. And so then it went from 90-10, and then everybody climbed on board. So that's the voluntary part of it. Up in Buena Vista County, the dollars that the HUD dollars and the FEMA dollars that were available during the grant for all the projects that were initially to be done, those were actually at no cost to the farmer at all. They were 100% implemented, and there was no cost to the farmers. So, I mean, the farmer's not on the hook to do anything. I mean, you know, that is why there was about $1.3 million of that actually went to Dubuque County, because they couldn't get the farmers in Pocahontas County to climb on board. And it was just basically almost a pushback. They didn't like what the plan had developed for them. And, you know, so, I mean, it is totally voluntary.
Okay. Well, I guess it's kind of up to you. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve this letter? We can have more discussion about it, but Dean's kind of been on top of this, and he's kind of recommended to us. We just kind of sit on this and see where it takes us. Because we have an opportunity at a later date to make an adjustment if we see that we've maybe done something in error, or we can, or at least we're staying on the safe side by doing this. So
I would make a motion to acknowledge receipt of the letter and to take no action.
I'll second that motion.
Neil's got it.
all right, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on that subject? Thanks, Dean, for keeping up on this. It's a lot of information.
It's pretty crazy, you know, the whole thing.
Okay,
Thanks, Dean, for all your hard work.
I'll call for the vote on this. Then we're going to just take no action at this time. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and opposed. Motion carries. All right, the COVID-19 reimbursement discussion. Courtney, are you wanting to file something, or you want to hold off till the 15th of September?
Well, I have all the receipts available to submit to FEMA. I'm still waiting on their end in order to submit that. So I called them
Okay.
yesterday, and they said they'd send me an email when it was available for me to submit. So,
Okay, and we'll have a resolution on that. So will there be a time schedule? We have to work backwards from that day, or?
well, what I think is we can submit to FEMA and we're eligible for 75% payback. So I thought I'd submit the 75% request to FEMA, and then the 25% I would request from the state. And the resolution is for the state funds. So we'll do that resolution when I'm able to actually go and submit the claims, because right
Okay.
now I'm able to do that.
Okay, and the department heads have been getting things turned into you, and,
I've just been pulling them off from Bill Day.
okay.
Been coding everything to COVID-19, so it's pretty easy to find out.
Yeah, and unless there's something that you're missing, but I have a feeling you probably got your finger on top of that pretty good, so.
I don't think we're missing.
Okay, thanks for your work on that, Courtney.
So I'm just going to make a comment. Did everybody see the email yesterday from ISAC about the webinar this afternoon?
Yeah, I seen it was there. I am booked up. I can't make that, so.
Well, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. You know,
Yeah.
Courtney, you saw it, I'm sure.
I did. We have online election training at the same time. They said
Okay.
that video would be available to view at a later date. So
Okay, all right. All right.
Courtney, if we sign this resolution, how often can we apply for state funding? I see the state funding began March 1st and goes to the end of the year. Can we apply quarterly, weekly, daily, once? What's the deal?
I think you can do it as much as you need to. My suggestion would be, once they open it up for me to be able to submit them, is to, I have fiscal 20 expenses that I was gonna submit and do a resolution for the remaining 25%, and then do another one for fiscal 21 that we've spent so far. So I was gonna do 2 as of right now.
So you want to do 2 resolutions?
Yeah, and there may be more, because we could submit a request, let's say at the end of the month, and then we have more expenses in September and October. We'll probably have to do another resolution at that time. So
All right, we need to do a resolution with each claim we submit.
that's my understanding, yes.
All right,
Does that help keep it a little cleaner for you if it says fiscal year 20 and fiscal year 21?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Very good. Once again, it looks like you're on top of it again. That's good. Thank you for that. Any more discussion on that? Okay, if not, I guess I'll entertain a motion for adjournment unless somebody has something else they'd like to add today.
Well, I just got a text from Sarah. She said that there have been 20 cases in the last 24 hours.
I just was reading that on the side, so.
Jeez.
She said it was tied to a wedding, she thinks.
Yeah. All right. Neil, were you gonna say something?
well, I guess I talked to Courtney before the meeting about the local option sales tax. We have 1.9 million, how much that is committed. She thought about 600,000. For the next meeting, could you solidify that amount a little bit?
Well, I can look now for what we're talking about. It is 626,497.
All right, thank you. That'll be sufficient.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment then.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second for adjournment. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Stay safe.